All right, let's talk about leadership. Not the textbook kind, but what it really looks like when the pressure is on, when everything is on the line. We're going to unpack the story of one person's incredible response during a global pandemic. And trust me, there are some huge lessons in here about foresight, action, and what it truly means to lead.
So let's just start with the big question right up front, the one that really drives this whole story. It's a tough one, I know, but it forces us to look past just the sequence of events and get to the real heart of it, a true test of character.
You might think a crisis response kicks off on day one of the emergency, but as we're about to see, the real critical work, that starts years, sometimes decades, before the alarm bells ever start ringing.
This right here, this is the core idea. Great crisis leadership isn't just about being quick on your feet. It's really about the foundation you've building for years. It's the planning, the experience, the stuff you can pull from when everything, and I mean everything, goes sideways. You're basically preparing for a future you hope never actually arrives.
And just look at that gap on the timeline. 15 years. That is wild. Long before COVID-19 was even a blip on the radar, Doug Healey was deep in the weeds of pandemic planning for H5N1. He was working with New Zealand's Ministry of Education, with WHO guidelines. This wasn't some side project. This was the foundational work that would turn out to be absolutely invaluable.
And then, well, that future showed up. The what-ifs, the theoretical scenarios, they were all about to become very, very real.
Of course, there's that old saying, right? No plan survives first contact with the enemy. The H5N1 plan was solid, but it was based on older, more contained outbreaks. COVID-19, that was a global firestorm. It was faster, way more unpredictable than any model could have fully predicted. This is that moment where leadership has to pivot from just planning to pure, real-time adaptation.
So, in 2020, the call comes in. Healey is tasked with coordinating the whole response for the northern region. But here's the kicker. The systems he and his team put together there, they worked so well, they were rolled out for the entire country. That's how you know you're looking at effective leadership in action, when it creates a model that everyone else can build on.
Okay, so we've set the stage. What did this leadership actually look like on the ground in the middle of the chaos? The entire strategy was really built on these three core pillars. This wasn't just about medicine. It was about innovating systems that were breaking, supporting entire communities that were struggling, and then mobilizing a massive, nationwide public health effort. Let's break each one down.
First pillar, innovation. The healthcare system was absolutely buckling under the pressure. The old ways of doing things just weren't going to cut it. So, Healey's team built New Zealand's first ever digital triage and e-referral system. I mean, think about that. In the middle of a national emergency, they're building brand new tech from scratch just to stop the whole system from collapsing and to get people the right care fast. And this second pillar, support, this shows a much, much deeper way of thinking. This wasn't just about fighting a virus. It was about protecting a society. The team launched health outreach programs, sure, but they also set up emergency housing for the most vulnerable. It's such a powerful reminder. You can't protect a community's health if you're ignoring their most basic human needs. And finally, the third pillar, mobilization. I mean, this was the logistical Everest, leading New Zealand's absolute largest vaccination centers. This wasn't just another part of the plan. This was the whole endgame. This was the cornerstone of the strategy to find a way out of the pandemic. But this detail right here, this is everything. How on earth did they pull off a rollout on that scale? Well, a massive part of the answer is this. They staffed the centers with the largest Māori nursing workforce. This wasn't just about getting enough people. No, this was a brilliant strategic move to build trust, to ensure the program actually connected with and served the communities that needed it most. It was about people. Okay, so when we step back and look at this whole story, what's the big takeaway? What's the lesson here?
When you boil it all down, you get this beautiful anatomy of what effective leadership looks like under fire. It's the foresight to prepare for over a decade. It's the innovation to literally build new tools while the fire is raging. It's the inclusivity to understand you're serving people, not just solving problems. And finally, it's the decisive action to make it all happen on a massive national scale.
And that brings us right back to where we started. After seeing the years of preparation, the lightning-fast innovation, and the deep focus on community that it required, that question somehow feels even heavier, doesn't it? Because a crisis doesn't just test leadership, it reveals it.